This is now tarot lesson number 47, and I'd like to begin with 2 observations, then I'll get to the main purpose of the video. One is somebody, I think it was Evelyn, I can't remember, I couldn't find the comment again, but she talked about how she had a dream about finding 16 snake skins on her front lawn, and then when she woke she remembered the dream and she related the 16 skins of the snake or the snakes to the Tower card number 16, and so she now has a different understanding of the Tower card, because maybe part of it, if you imagine a snake shedding its skin, it can be feeling hemmed in or stuck, or not stuck, but tightly bound, and then you've got a certain amount of release as the skin is shed and there's a new skin underneath it. And so the Tower card might represent somebody going through that kind of process of shedding their skin. And the reason I'm mentioning this, so partly that's Evelyn's, I think it's Evelyn's understanding of the card, so she's adding to her understanding of the card. But also I was going to make a comment and leave something, but if you look here in the Tower card, that lightning flash looks like the symbol for the sign Scorpio, and Scorpio looks like that. Okay, so you can see the similarity between the symbol for Scorpio and the lightning flash here. So how do you learn? People want to know how to learn tarot cards, and that's a good example of how you learn. You pay attention to what you come across or what you notice or what finds you, and you remember the tarot, and you begin to relate things that may seem disconnected or unconnected with what's going on in a card, and you do something with it. And maybe you write down 16 snakes, but you don't quite know what more to do with it. But that doesn't matter. You come back to it a few days later or a month later, and then something will have clicked, and you develop better understanding. It was that same idea in mind in the stream a while ago. The 7 of Batons came up, and so I've seen this card I don't know how many 100 times, but I used to watch the TV show The Walking Dead, and one of the characters in it was called Morgan, and Morgan meets Rick at the beginning of the series and so on. But there's a certain point where Morgan is he meets somebody who shows him some sort of self-defense techniques, Aikido maybe, and so Morgan now has got the idea that all life is precious, and so he won't kill people, whereas Rick and the others will kill people in order to survive. But the weapon, Morgan's weapon of choice, is a stick, a walking stick kind of thing. And so for the first time I looked at this 7 of Batons that came up, and I thought, that's Morgan in The Walking Dead. So this makes sense to me. If you've seen The Walking Dead, it may make sense to you as well. But it's just the idea that with the 7 of Batons, maybe when it comes up, I also might want to say to the questioner, what's your philosophy? Because Morgan's philosophy changed from not wanting to kill anybody, even to survive, because he thought people can change and people can adapt and people won't always be evil or be killers themselves if we treat them kindly. And so with the 7 of Batons, that idea of examine your own philosophy and see how what you believe or what you think is morally correct is going to influence the action that you take. So again, how do you learn the tarot? I think what you do is you make connections, or you pay attention, or you take seriously the little things that happen to you. Instead of you go through life and you sort of dismiss everything and you don't pay much attention to anything because it's all meaningless. Maybe it's all meaningful. Every single thing that happens to you, or every single event you're involved with, has got meaning, or it's got something valuable for you to develop. And maybe that's what the tarot is good for. the other thing is, since we're doing this, and this is bits and pieces today, I in a recent video I did TAROT is 417 or 41274. 4 is the planet Uranus, which is the negative sun. And it occurred to me after I'd finished the video, maybe people come to the tarot because something has gone wrong. You know what I mean? Like people don't, if everything's going well, you don't tend to consult the tarot. People want to know, well, how should I decide, or what can go wrong? And maybe that's the point about the tarot beginning with the letter T. You're starting with a negative sun. So you're dealing with something that's upsetting or unusual or something that's gone wrong because of the nature of the planet Uranus, which, incidentally, most planets spin on their axis like that. If that's the axis, they spin around this way. Uranus's axis is like that, and it goes up, it goes round and round. If you can see that on the video, that's how Uranus revolves around its axis that way, whereas most planets, they go this way. And the way the Earth spins in its orbit, that's how planets go. But Uranus goes like this. And that can be why, or that can be the connection with the tarot, dealing with or able to understand or able to give us understanding of things that are going sideways or that are revolving in a different way from what we're used to or what's considered normal. Okay, so let's say you want to do something with the tarot, but you don't know what. And this kind of gets back to lesson 1, because my idea then was start somewhere and see what happens. And a card fell out. So presumably if you want to do something with a card, or you want to do something with the tarot, you don't need a plan to begin with. You just pick a card or let a card fall out and start with it. So here we've got the Knight of Cups. So what do we do? What do knights mean? This was a recent comment. Knights are messengers, not so much pages. If you want to use pages as messengers, by all means, go ahead. But I'm giving you my opinion. And it seems to me if you've got an important, serious message to give, to pass on to somebody, who are you going to send? Are you going to send a child who's probably not going to be taken seriously? Or are you going to send a knight, somebody who is older, more stable, maybe more able to negotiate or navigate through difficulties, or who's maybe going to be able to present the information more forcefully, right? Because let's say you've got something important to tell somebody, and you send a messenger, and the messenger gives the message, and it's badly received, and the messenger just backs down and walks away. And maybe you don't want that. So knights I like as messengers. So if you've got the Knight of Cups, if you go back to the suits, what do cups represent? Love, home, family, emotions, good times, celebration, that kind of thing. So with the Knight of Cups upright, it looks like good things are coming, good news is coming, or help is on its way. If it depends what the question is, but maybe help is on its way with the Knight of Cups, that people are going to be supportive or helpful, or they're going to be willing to go out their way to accommodate you, or to give you something that you need, or to help you out in some way because it's cup. So you are going to have a reason to celebrate if you think of the cup. Or maybe because in football you get cup in all sorts of sporting occasions, you get cup competitions where it's a knockout round, and eventually you get the final and you've got two teams and one of them is going to win the cup. That can be what this Knight of Cups is about. That somebody, the questioner, let's say, is going to win the cup, which can mean that maybe they've had difficulties in the qualifying rounds, but now they're in the final and they're going to win, or now they've got to the end of the journey, so to speak, and it looks like good things are going to be happening for them. So again, depending on what the question is, you could talk along that kind of line about good things happening, events taking place that are worth celebrating, that are enjoyable, that make you happy, or other, because the knight can represent you, the questioner, or it can represent other people coming into their life, then other people are going to help. So if you've been wondering about whether you should get other people involved in the decision or get other people involved in the solution, the answer is yes, because they're going to welcome what you're offering or what you're dealing with, and they're going to have good and helpful things to say to help you get a good outcome. So that's something that we might think about with the Knight of Cups. So maybe at this point we've written down ideas to do with this particular card, and then we get stuck. So we can stop for the day, because that was quite good what we just did, I think, or you can pick another card. And now we've got the Five of Cups reversed. So you do the same kind of thing where you look at what's going on in the picture and make up or be sensitive to your own ideas about what the picture shows. So we've got somebody, it's this Five of Cups. What does it show? It shows stand still. In the Eight of Cups, the person's walking away. But in the Five of Cups, the person is standing still, but it's upside down. So stand still. Either you ought to stand still, but you're going to try and make things better. And that's why it's upside down, because it's indicating a mistake that you're about to make or that you had made in the past. So stand still. So you're meant to stand still, but you're taking action. Or you're standing still and you don't enjoy it. Because sometimes we just want to do something, even if we know it's the wrong thing to do. We would rather do something rather than nothing. But maybe with the Five of Cups upside down, again, it depends on the question and where the card comes. Is it past, present, or future? But here we've got standing still, or not standing still. And the opposite of standing still is walking or moving or acting or doing something, rather than just maybe adapting to an experience that you don't enjoy that much. I've been looking at videos on YouTube about how to set the volume level for YouTube videos. And it's really complicated, because you need to understand LUFS, and you need to understand master buses and loudness and EQ and compression and limiting and sound gates and so on. So I found that the first couple of videos I watched, I didn't really know what I got annoyed because I didn't know what it was all about. But I find that I've been looking at multiple videos. I take like 2 or 3 minutes of a video and then I leave it and I come back to it later, or I come back to a different one later. And so I want to know everything. I want to be able to set the volume level correctly. And this is like me, right? Because I want to do stuff, but at this point I don't know how. So maybe this Five of Cups reverse means just live with the uncertainty, or live with not knowing for a while, and let it settle in. Because I watched a video shortly before I started recording this, and I understood it an awful lot better than the first time I looked at it. So maybe with the Five of Cups, you need to go over things multiple times to get the hang of it. And then once you've got familiarity, then you're going to know what to do. Then you're capable of taking action. Whereas with the Five of Cups upside down, if you act without really knowing what you're doing, then it's all going to fall apart. It's not going to work. So patience, maybe. Okay, that was lesson number 47. So I meant to think this through. So Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Next Monday, I'll be back. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.